The best prospect in years, the future of baseball, leader of the next dynasty. These were the words used to describe Jackson Holliday before his big league debut in April 2024. And the praise was warranted. With his elite contact, projectability, and an undeniable work ethic, not to mention being on the ball field since he was in diapers thanks to his pops. After only one full season in the minors, the Orioles decided to take a chance on Holliday and add him to the main roster at just 20 years old. Now was the time for Jackson Holliday to show the world that the hype was indeed real. Unfortunately, people who doubted Jackson's skills as a big leaguer were validated, as after just 10 games, he was sent back to Norfolk in the AAA. So, was it all smoke and mirrors leading up to his debut? Or did the pressure of living up to the hype get to the youngster? Let's find out what went wrong for Jackson Holliday. First things first, despite the demotion, no one can deny Jackson Holliday is a solid, well above average ball player. Let's forget about all the accolades leading up to this year and just focus on 2024. In spring training with the O's, Jackson hit .311 with 14 hits, 6 RBIs, 2 homers, and an OPS of .954, but he did strike out 15 times in 45 at-bats. At this point, many fans believed the hype was, in fact, real and were ready for Holliday to make his opening day debut with the Orioles. But it didn't happen. The Orioles management loved what they were seeing, but thought Jackson needed more time facing lefties, as he did strike out 9 times against southpaws, and wanted him to get more comfortable with the switch from short to second. While the big boys went to play in Baltimore, Holliday went to Norfolk to fine-tune his skills with the Tides. It was obvious Jackson Holliday was head and shoulders above most of the talent pool in AAA, and he knew it. He went back to the minors with a point to prove, and he did so his very first at-bat, going yard off a lefty.
Choices under the guise of Elias. Swing and a high fly ball. Drilled long and deep, heading beyond the bullpen in right field, and Holliday gets the year started with a long driving home run.
It was like he was saying to the O's higher-ups, "Oh, you want me to see more lefties? Okay, what's next?" In those 10 games he played to start 2024 in Norfolk, Jackson hit .333 with an OPS over 1,000 and walked more than he struck out. It was at this point that fans were questioning Mike Elias' decision to keep Jackson down, with many bringing service time manipulation into consideration. Clearly, Jackson Holliday is a skilled player and didn't seem to have any trouble in the minors or during spring training. Maybe the echoes of fans influenced the O's management, or maybe it was Jackson's consistency to start 2024. Whatever it was, less than 2 weeks after opening day, on April 10th, Jackson Holliday got his call up to the majors. The world watched with anticipation. With people already speculating about Jackson's chances of winning Rookie of the Year before even stepping on the field, how would the 20-year-old fare under the bright lights? Well, not great, but not terrible either. He had an okay showing in his debut. Although going 0 for 4, he managed an RBI and turned a nice double play. Unfortunately, in the 10 games Jackson played with the O's, he never got anything going. It took him 4 games to claim his first big league hit, and he only got 1 more after that, hitting an abysmal 59. His elite bat-to-ball skills disappeared as he struck out 18 of his 34 at-bats and seemed to lose all discipline at the plate with a 5.6 walk rate. He did shine at second base, though, as Holliday managed 3 outs above average in those 10 games, which over a 162-game sample, that's good enough for a Gold Glove. However, Holliday did struggle with shallow bloopers not once, but twice. So, Jackson started the season with 10 games in the minors, then 10 in the majors before he was demoted back to Norfolk. Obviously, his lackluster performance in the bigs played a big role in his demotion, but maybe it wasn't the only reason. The Orioles are playing some of the best baseball in the majors right now, leading the AL East with a 19-10 record at the time of writing this. And they have a few key players to thank that aren't Jackson Holliday. Gunnar Henderson and Jorge Mateo both currently have an OPS plus over 115. Gunnar is tied for the most home runs so far this season. Adley Rutzman, Ryan Mountcastle, Jordan Westberg, Colton Cowser, and Ryan O'Hearn have all been playing at an all-star level. This relentless offense has kept them in just about every game, especially when Corbin Burnes pitches. Burnes looks to be the Cy Young frontrunner, but he is their only starter, pitching well above average. The good news is, if the Orioles can get to the bullpen with a lead or a close game, they have a great chance of winning. This shows that Holliday wasn't necessarily hurting the team, but not helping either. So while it may be beneficial for Jackson to get those big league reps, from the Orioles' standpoint, they just can't afford any weak links in their lineup right now. The O's will surely be competing for the division all season, and even with Holliday's great showing at second, Baltimore needs those bats at the back end of their lineup. Orioles GM Mike Elias noted that had Jackson not been sent down to the minors, he would have been riding the pine for a couple of weeks anyway, since Baltimore was set to face a series of lefties. So, rather than have Holliday do nothing, Elias thought it was better to send him to Norfolk so he stays active. Elias has hounded the fact that Jackson Holliday is a great player and is genuinely happy with his performance. But as Mike put it, this game up here, people attack your weakness until you stop showing them weaknesses. I tried to look for a specific weakness with Jackson's stint in the majors, and after looking through his Baseball Savant page, he had trouble against pretty much every pitch he saw. But Mike Elias understands that some prospects struggle, even comparing Jackson to Grayson Rodriguez and Colton Cowser, who both debuted early last year only to get demoted and come back stronger. Not everyone feels the same as Mike Elias though, namely superstar Francisco Lindor. Lindor said that from his personal experience, he didn't feel it was the right move and that Holliday should have been allowed to figure it out in the majors rather than being sent down to the minors. Lindor recalled his first 21 games with Cleveland where he was only hitting .205 with a .492 OPS. Granted, those numbers are a little bit better than Jackson's. Lindor said, "I was struggling and one day Francona opened the door in the clubhouse. You ain't going anywhere," he said. "You're going to be hitting second every single game. Go get him." That turned my career around. And it's true. In the final 73 games of his rookie season, he was fantastic with a .930 OPS. And although Holliday may feel the same way, that it would be in his best interest to fine-tune his skills in the majors, he is taking his demotion in stride. Jackson said he knows that the MLB is for the best players, and a demotion is just part of the process, which will ultimately lead to him becoming a better player. And with that attitude, he is already showing more maturity than many of us would at 20 years old. But as Jackson has stated, he doesn't have a plan B. So expect him to lock in and be stronger than ever when he does come back to the O's roster. Now back in the minors, Holliday is hitting an even .300, slugging .517 with an OPS of .951. So his numbers have slipped a little bit. Let's just hope this demotion isn't getting into his head. Where does Jackson go from here? Will he be one of those top prospects that never finds his footing in the majors? Let's be honest here. It's unrealistic to expect every prospect to come up and immediately produce. Once he shows improvement in the areas where Mike Elias wants, he'll be back up helping the O's with their playoff push. Hopefully this run in the minors will lead to a better and much longer second stint in the majors for Jackson Holliday. What do you think? Do you agree with Lindor that Jackson Holliday should have stayed in the majors, or do you think it's more productive for him and the Orioles to figure it all out in the AAA? Let me know in the comments. Figure out if Steven Strasburg is a GOAT or bust by clicking on this video, and subscribe to Baseball Buzz.